Hey everyone, welcome to the Firefighters Global Consulting Behind the Smoke podcast. This podcast operates wholly independently of any specific fire department, union, or municipality. This podcast is intended to provide information, education, and hopefully even entertainment for some of our listeners, and is provided in our personal capacities and does not reflect the official policies, procedures, or views of any specific fire department, union, or municipality. Furthermore, no official department resources, equipment, or on duty time are utilized in the operation of this business or the making of this podcast. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoy it. Yeah, well, with the
You
way
don't,
you're eating right there, how much money you spend on that meal?
buddy. You'd be surprised. This is probably like $6. Food is so cheap here. I love Japan, dude. Um, yeah,
I
six
I think
bucks
honestly Japanese food's like my favorite.
is likewise. I don't even know what I'm eating, but I haven't had a bad meal here yet, and it's
That's
absolutely
awesome.
unreal. Yeah, I got a little bento. I got my Centauri Boss latte, and I got some little mochi balls, and I'm good to
Dude,
roll, buddy. I'm good.
the last time that you went to Japan, you were supposed to speak Japanese on the podcast to prove that you can actually speak it because you were using that Duolingo app and you were
Yeah,
you were on it constantly, and then I asked you to say something, you're like, I don't know anything. Like
it's just
you're on that app for hours, man. Like
No, 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 no. I know it's like a weird thing to like. I can't just like pop up with like a sentence because I've had that question asked of me like before too with like Serbian. It's like, oh, say something in Serbian. I'm like, I don't know, like what do I
yeah,
say? Like you're not gonna understand what it is, and
I
but
guess you could just make it up.
that's
That
true.
it
Yeah.
doesn't even need to be Japanese. If someone's asking you and they don't know, I mean, whatever.
No, but I am I'm pretty happy with the way my Japanese is right now. Like I'm like, Regibukuro wa arimasu ka? It means like, do you have a grocery bag? And they're like, oh, arimasu, arimasu, which is like, we do. But they're like so shocked that I can speak it.
Nice.
And
Well, you know
yeah, buddy,
what?
it's
Like with that wispy beard you got going on there, you're kind of reminding me of Mr. Miyagi a little bit. So you really,
I
I feel like you're really leaning into the Japanese culture while you're there.
I am, buddy. Yeah. It's gonna be a shame shaving this thing off when I'm back off vacation. But it is what it is. It's just part of
Hell,
the job, right?
hell yeah, is what it is. That's
Uh-huh.
right.
It's
Sweet buddy. Well, why don't we let's get into it so our listeners don't just have to hear about how good the Japanese food is that you're eating and that you have a shitty beard right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's get into it, man. It's been a while, so it's we have to catch up a little bit.
Big time.
Yeah,
So Boris is back, baby. He's
back
back.
full
Yeah,
time,
he
24/7.
he had to take a bit of a hiatus to whatever. It doesn't matter. He had some stuff that he had
Yeah, yeah.
to do, and so he had to take a little hiatus, a little break, and now he's back, and we're cruising today, baby.
Yeah, it's kind of actually almost kind of like the topic of our episode this week too, because like I was off on medical leave and yeah, today we're talking about being your own health advocate in the fire service, right?
Yeah. Yeah, big time. I think this is and Boris, this topic was your idea, and right when you sent it to me, I'm like 100%. I'm like, this is such a important thing for us to go over for our listeners because you know, I'm sure some of you are aware, right? Like I can't remember, like I think it's like the World Health Organization or whatever classified firefighting as like a type 2 carcinogen or something like that, just because of all the different materials that are in fires now, like a lot of synthetic materials and that kind of stuff, right? So firefighters are getting cancer at a much quicker and higher um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Right.
Thank you,
I'm,
sir.
I'm thinking.
See, it's a good thing you're back.
We're back, baby. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. There's a lot of things that are coming to the forefront in the fire service in terms of health, PTSD, cancer, all that kind of stuff. So we'll just kind of go over it, kind of start to finish. We'll start with, doing the medical testing prior to the job. Then fire academy, you might have done your fire academy before actually getting hired, or some departments you'll do fire academy, during that time. But yeah, we'll talk about, what to do if there's medical issues during that time, and then we'll go on to probation, that first year when you're super new. And then just yeah, just kind of chat more about life in the fire service and kind of things to look out for, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. It's I mean, we're seeing it a lot more like across North America and other countries of just like cancer rates and um, just job related health issues on the rise, right? So,
Yeah.
for someone who's just looking to get into this career, like that's maybe something that they never thought of before, right? And it's not just cancer; it's also heart conditions and Parkinson's, all these other um, really shitty health situations that we as firefighters seem to have a bigger chance of getting, right? So
Yeah, it's one of those things like the ones you mentioned there, like the big ones, you're not we're it's very reactive, right? We're not gonna think about it until it hits us and it's like, hey, you got cancer, hey, you got Parkinson's. It's like, and then your whole life turns, flips upside down and with your family and everything. So hopefully with this episode, especially young guys listening or guys thinking of getting into fire service, it's good. It's good to start early, start with that first medical test, that baseline and kind of go from there and hopefully avoid all of these things and have a nice long good career. Right.
but I think that's the key, Boris, is for all of you listening that are even if you're already a firefighter and you haven't gone to do a full blood screen, like a full medical check, it's good to go and get a baseline, right? And then I mean, I would recommend going yearly, right? That's what I do
Yeah.
typically. Like I'll go every year, and I actually started like a couple of years uh before getting in the fire service. So I have a
Mhm.
baseline from when I was like 22 or whatever, right?
That's really good, man. That's real. Like 22 is like you started early. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's just like there was people in my family who had health problems and kind of scared me. So I was like, well, I want to make sure that I'm, pretty consistent with at least getting checked and stuff like that. And my liver enzymes have gone through the roof because since then we've moved to Port Moody where there's a ton of breweries and I love beer. So but aside from that, everything else seems to be okay.
That's good. We actually, speaking of medical tests, you and I actually first met in medical tests, and I think I told you about this encounter
I
before.
know,
Like,
I know what story you're about to fucking tell. Go ahead.
you're wearing like this greasy chain, this big gold Italian chain, and I don't know, you just like there was chest hair sticking out. It was like the most greasy look I've ever seen. I'm like, am I gonna be working with this guy or what?
Surprise.
Surprise, yeah.
Look how that turned out for you.
But yeah, that medical test was kind of like my first encounter. Like I wasn't as smart as you in that sense to start early and get baseline, but that medical test was actually my first kind of gut check because I had an issue something with my lungs and you know that thing where you gotta like blow and then the ball moves up and down and
Yeah.
yeah. If you're listening to this, you'll see through your career, you might get a medical test that has some kind of lung capacity, right, for firefighting. And I just remember I had issues with it during that medical test. And this kind of goes to like what the episode is about, being your own advocate, is I knew through just training and getting ready for the fire service that my lungs were in excellent shape. I was an ex-smoker when I was in the military. I used to hack darts all the time. But
Mhm.
uh, anyway, I just wouldn't take no for an answer. Like, I think they were saying something that it wasn't working. I'm like, well, no, I think I'm doing it wrong. Just let me try a couple more times. And sure enough, it passed through. So, um,
And then you
if you
walked out of
go
the
into
room
this,
and passed out,
yeah, that's right.
get
Just
all
had
lightheaded.
a dart,
Oh.
had a victory dart. But yeah, that was kind of like my first check because I don't know how it was with you when you were a volunteer, Damo, but did you do a medical test for volunteering,
No, no,
firefighting?
there was no
No.
medical test.
Okay. So we did a medical test and I knew I was 100% good. So then when I went into my career medical test, and this little hiccup happened, I I was confident in my answer that no, that wasn't an issue and that I could pass this test. So if you're going into these tests as a recruit or a candidate, and you know something's not correct on their end, because people make mistakes, doctors make mistakes, right? Nurses, uh, just be your own advocate and advocate for the fact that, you think that maybe that's not a correct answer, or that try to do it again, or maybe the explanation isn't right, because you don't want to, 5 minutes of a mess up at a medical test could cost you a lifetime career,
So
right?
true.
And
Yeah.
if you can take those 5 minutes in your medical test to clarify something, or maybe you checked off the wrong box in your medical, make sure you do, because I know people have gone into that medical too with like back injuries and, past medical surgeries and things like that. And, if they ticked off the wrong box, that was it. They wouldn't continue on. So just make sure if you know something's wrong in that medical, to address it right away, and yeah, be your own advocate in that, because
Yeah.
nobody else will advocate for you. You
Yeah,
know.
for sure.
Um, yeah, and then basically from there, fire academy. That's obviously a big one. You actually had an injury in our fire academy, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. How was now? Okay, so for those listening now and getting into the fire service, what's kind of the difference between sucking it up and moving through the pain and actually telling a training officer, hey, this is bothering me, I can't go on, in your
Well,
opinion?
the thing is like the reality is you're probably going to get some sort of a tweak injury or um something's probably going to happen during your
Hmm.
training, right? Like you're
Hmm.
training hard. It's super physical, it's depending on what time of the year it is or where you're located, what department you're with, could be super hot, right? I feel like little injuries do come up, right? Um, but there's also a bit of a like, is it going to affect your performance, right? Is it going to affect how you're going to do throughout the academy? Is it bothering you enough that you feel like it's really hindering how you're performing? Then maybe that's time to bring it up. But if you have a sore arm or something like that, that's kind of a bit of a maybe suck it up. You got some blisters on your feet from trying to work in brand new boots while you're training on ladders and stuff like that. Get some polysporin and put on a bandage, right? Though, I just unless if it gets so bad to the point where it impedes your progress, right?
Yeah, yeah, completely agree. Like if you have a sore ladder from throwing or sorry, sore shoulder from throwing up ladders, yeah, suck it up, because that's part of the job. So I
Mm,
totally agree with you there. Nobody wants to see, a recruit or a firefighter, no matter what seniority they are, be injured or be off work for a long time. So if something that got tweaked or injured is gonna, get much worse if you continue, then absolutely tell somebody.
yeah,
I feel like it's the same. You kind of touched on it with the heat thing. Like you may be working in a very hot environment. Like if you're, in Arizona and you're throwing up ladders and you get a little thirsty, like you need to get used to that, because that's the environment you're going to be working in, right?
yeah,
If you're about to pass out from dehydration and you know your own body and you know you're going to like maybe get injured, if you're on top of a ladder or something and you get dizzy, then tell somebody, because again, be your own health advocate, kind of know those baselines, know yourself enough that, hey, this is not normal for me. I'm spiraling, right?
yeah. Well, especially when it comes to like dehydration and stuff, right? Like heat stroke and heat exhaustion and all that kind of stuff, right? Like that can actually become pretty dangerous. So yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
You're a little bit thirsty. Like, you are probably going to get a bit of a break and have some water in a bit kind of thing after the drill's done. But, if you're starting to feel dizzy or you're starting to feel actually unwell due to potentially the heat that you're training in or just, lack of hydration, like you said, Boris, like maybe, it's probably around that time that you're definitely going to want to say something, right? Like our whole thing is like do whatever you're comfortable with, right? But if what we're trying to say really is don't let things go too long that it's going to become a detriment to your health and your performance and your safety and everyone else's safety, right? Like, don't necessarily use this as like a, well, Boris Adamo said not to like say anything unless I get dizzy, like you know your own body, right? How you feel, right? So,
Mhm.
but kind of, I think what Boris and I are trying to say with this is, um, it's all within reason, right? You got to think of the job that you're doing, what's required of you and stuff. Like, yeah, you know what? If you're throwing ladders all day, you're probably going to have a sore shoulder. That's kind of
Mhm.
part of it, right? But if you can't, lift your arm up because you tweaked your shoulder, well, that's different, right? So, yeah, just, you know who you are, you know how your body is, right? So just,
Yeah.
just keep that in mind.
Yeah, it's that fine line, right? Like you're too afraid to say something because you're new, or it's, the fire academy, you don't know anybody, you don't want to be labeled as somebody who's complaining. But if you have a serious injury or something's happening, like tell somebody. Training officers don't want you to be injured or be off or anything like that, right? It's just it's nobody wants that. So be your own advocate and let somebody know if something like that happens because you could carry that on into your career as well, right? Like Adamo, if you didn't tell anybody about your injury and you just like tried to suck it up, like you could be still feeling that pain, 10 years later, like right now, right?
Buddy,
Maybe you do.
buddy,
Do you?
That's I tried to suck it up. And then one of our
Yeah.
TOs saw me running and he was like, "What is going on?" He's like, "Why are
Oh
you
yeah.
limping?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm good." He's like, "No, no, no, you're not good, man." He's like, "I can tell you're in a lot of pain right now. Come with me." I was like, "Oh God."
At least you
Uh,
didn't get sunstroke. My brother-in-law's dog got sunstroke and he just became stupid. He was like a border collie, smartest dog in the world, and just dumb.
so
Just
so he's
yeah.
he's kind of he's part of the family now, eh? Is what you're saying.
Yeah.
He fits in better now.
He fits in, yeah. He's not trying to make us all feel self-conscious with his smarts.
He can bark in Japanese.
Yeah.
Boris has been to Japan like 10 times. Can't even speak Japanese.
Well, yeah, it's but those things are serious. Like, yeah, they could be with you for a long time. And that's kind of what I think we can get into next is like in your probation, um, I don't know how it was with you down when every department's different, but when you do a big drill or 2, 3 hour long drill or whatever it is, or you're at a fire for 6 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is, uh shower. Most officers, most departments are good about that stuff. You'll decon afterwards and all that. But if you don't shower, if you don't tell someone, hey, you know, go through chain of command or whatever, is like, hey, Captain, is it okay if I just hop in a shower, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just get cleaned up? 99.9% of the officers will always say yes. Maybe that 0.01% will be like, oh, actually, we're just about to leave to get fuel up. You mind waiting like 20 minutes or something,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. No, no, no one's gonna
Uh,
say no. It's just,
yeah.
yeah, kind of timing wise, right? Like if you got to quickly do something or whatever. But, um, like you said too, Boris, with that, like especially if you've been at a fire,
Mhm.
like it is so important to shower after. All the studies are coming back, and like I did that episode with Daniel Aguera. I see I can say his last name right now because properly. When I tried to say it when we were recording the podcast, he's like, "You said it wrong." I was like, "Ah, shit." um, but you guys, like, if you haven't listened to that podcast, go back and listen to it, that episode, because we talk about some of this stuff. Are you good, buddy? You choking there?
Oh, sorry, I just had that Centauri boss just went straight to my nostrils. Oh, sorry. We'll cut that out.
No, we're keeping that.
Oh man. But no, I listened to that. That was a great episode, and that's actually what gave me an idea to talk about nicotine later down the line. And we'll
Yeah.
touch on that. But he talks about nicotine and sleep, and that was a really great episode. If you guys haven't listened to it, go back to it and yeah, give it a little listen.
Could I want to add something to this. So, um, because Boris, we had or you had written down, for like overhaul, right? Like going in without a mask,
Yes.
right? I mean, I think it's pretty, at least in our area, like I don't think anybody's going to do that. However, in different departments across North America, they have different standards of how they do things, right? So, I think we're pretty fortunate with the department that we work for that there's a high awareness, I would say, of like the cancer and stuff like that. But anyways,
Agreed.
um, one thing I'd like to add to that though is dumpster fires and even just like trash fires, like a garbage can fire. You don't know what's in there, and
Mhm.
you're going up to extinguish it. Um, Mask up. Or if there's like you get a call for a pot on the stove. Somebody left a pot on the stove and it's a bit smoky in there. Mask up. Like, don't take
Yeah.
any chances. Don't expose yourself to more risks of cancer than you already have to, right?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And then just saying that made me think, going to a bunch of pot on the stoves, and a lot of times, like maybe even 50% of the time, it's not even an actual pot on the stove. It's not metal on metal heat. It's like some plastic burnt,
Mm,
or, it caught the pot, got hot, and then it
burnt the
uh,
handle or something,
burnt.
the plastic
Exactly. Yeah.
handle. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's all these carcinogens that are just go, and it's usually like a small apartment or something, right? So it's
Yeah.
just all still in the air and you're breathing all that stuff in. So again, like those small little decisions could have a lifetime effect on you. So if you're new to the job, or people around you are masking up, be your own health advocate. Be like, hey, is it okay if I mask up here? Or just do it,
Hmm.
right? Very rarely is anyone gonna rip that mask. Like no one's gonna rip that mask off your face,
No.
right?
No, dude.
Uh, and it's like if somebody says something to you, like, okay, well, enjoy your cancer. Like I'm gonna try not to, you
Yeah.
know.
I think you'd be
It's
pretty hard pressed to find somebody who's going to try and make fun of you for masking up,
yeah,
for something, right? But
yeah,
again, like, we don't, for some of our listeners, we have listeners in the States and different places, we don't necessarily know the culture at your department and stuff. So if you do have a situation like that happen, just remember, I think it's a bit better to have somebody maybe poke a little bit of fun at you than end up, with a lung condition or something, so.
yeah, absolutely. And in my personal experience, I've never been chirped for that, right?
No.
And
If anything, like
uh,
I've found like it's the opposite. Like when I've like masked up for a pot on the stove before, I've had captains that are like, "Buddy, yeah, good. Good for you for doing that. That's smart. We should always be doing that." You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of officers or just people that have been on the job for a long time didn't have that culture when they were coming up as probationers, right? Which would have been like
mm,
30 years ago.
yeah.
So for them, it's not really second nature. But if you can nip that in the bud right as you enter the fire service and become second nature super early, you're gonna be well off, I think.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you just don't think about it, right? You're kind of, you might be sleeping or something. 2 minutes later, you're in somebody's kitchen. That's a very short time to be thinking about masking up sometimes, right? Especially if it's a call that doesn't necessarily right away say to you, "Oh, I got to mask up,"
Yeah.
right? So if it's second nature, you're not going to even think about it in that 2 minutes. It's just going to already be on your face, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and yeah, overhaul, big thing, right? If you're going into even like with like a fire investigator or something, always mask up. They say off gassing is even worse, right? I don't know if that's
Yeah,
if that's
I've heard that.
true.
I don't know the science. uh I don't fully know the science behind it, but that's definitely something we should look at. But I think that is true. Like it's almost just as bad, just the off gassing. And I think the fire off gas is like the things that were on fire off gas for quite a while too.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
Basically,
I've
if
I've
you
had
can smell fire, it's like if you can smell the burning and stuff like that. Like, how you do overhaul on a fire a couple hours later and it still smells like burning. Like that's you're still breathing that shit in, right? So.
yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. And if you hit up a sauna, have you seen those studies? I know that our previous guests have talked about that as well, but like
Mm.
if you're in a sauna, you can actually like months later, you'll smell smoke coming out of your pores from a fire.
Yeah, it's
You
crazy.
had that? It's nuts. It's absolutely
Yeah.
nuts. And I've had that happen before. I've been in a fire, whatever, showered, washed up. A week later, I'm having a sauna, and I'm like, it smells like fire in here. And it's just you. You're just seeping out poison.
That's
So,
actually, what, that's another thing to bring up, Boris, is wherever you work, whatever department you're with, like whatever city you're at, I'm sure there's a gym somewhere that has a sauna. If you don't
mhm.
have one in your hall, then find a local gym that has a sauna and use it regularly. Because the studies have shown like um, what's the word I'm looking for, Boris?
Carcinogens?
No,
Off gas?
no. Um, how beneficial,
Ah,
how
I thought you
beneficial
were going in a negative
No,
aspect, not
how
the.
beneficial it
Okay.
is to use like saunas, even if you haven't been in a fire in a while, like use it because it's just good for you in general,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
definitely like if you had a fire and you're coming off shift, just go to the gym and hit up that sauna for a bit. I can't remember. I
Buddy.
think I think Daniel talks about it in the or Dr. Igueda talks about it in the like the actual time frames and stuff like that, that the minimum
Mhm.
kind of time frame to get those carcinogens out in that episode that we had with him. So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm terrible with numbers and timings. It's just like if you were in a fire or even just want to get healthy, like go hit the sauna. It's just like
yeah,
firefighter simple, right? Just go in there. Just do it
yeah.
because it's going to be beneficial for you. Actually, you would love Japan, buddy. I go to the onsen here. It's like it's nice, like warm baths and saunas. It's like 95-degree saunas. They're
Oh,
unreal.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to open up a studio here or something. So then you have a reason to come.
Let's do. Hey, should we tell them the news about our new studio?
Yeah, yeah, dude, exciting, exciting
Yeah.
news.
So
Yeah.
so as you guys probably know, if you listen to the episode with Brendan Nelson, he has joined our team and he's our client acquisition president, as well as he kind of does a bunch of different stuff, I guess. He's also kind of like our sponsorship. I don't know
Guru.
what title do you want to give him? He's he's working on some sponsorship deals for the podcast to bring in a little bit more revenue, so that way we can upgrade our cameras and all that kind of stuff. But we also have a new studio that's going to be we're going to be essentially kind of renovating, and it's going to be really cool. Um, you guys are going to be able to see it like on YouTube and stuff like that. Um, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll do like making of when we put up our pictures and stuff. Very nice.
so yeah, so we
Yeah.
got the new studio that we're going to be renovating and working on, and yeah, well, you know what we should do? We should on YouTube kind of on our YouTube channel put like a little before walkthrough tour of the new studio, and then like a little after
Yeah.
walkthrough and show the work that we've done. But um, shout out to Brendan for getting us in that new studio there. So
Yeah, it's exciting, man, the way FGC is going and yeah, it wouldn't be possible without you guys listening, so appreciate that. And yeah, it'll be great setting it up and we'll see. We'll get some good fire stuff in there. It'll be good.
yeah.
There's other news that I forgot to tell you.
Oh no.
Um, I started jujitsu here in Japan.
Shut up. Did he
Yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Nice. Oh boy.
So now, yeah, yeah. So it's been good, buddy. I might even go into a tournament coming up in a few weeks, just because why not? There's like
Yeah, send it. Dude, that's
Japanese
awesome.
tournament. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been good. It's been
Right.
nice because I'm like a big fish in a small pond. So it's been really good that way.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm like much bigger than a lot of the guys that I roll with here, but obviously they're way better and like more technical, and I've had a few arm bars pulled on me and stuff, but it's great. It's been fun.
Do you
So
think you're gonna continue it when you get back?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that kind of what you were saying before is that like, when you're rolling for like 5 minutes, that's all you're thinking about. And it's kind of that mental health break from everything else, right? You're
Yeah,
not
dude.
just thinking about
It's
anything
like
else. So
meditation. Like you can't think about anything else because you someone's trying to fucking break your arm or choke you out.
yeah, it's perfect.
Dude, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
my buddy.
I'm super pumped to hear that, man.
Yeah, right on, buddy. Yeah, it's been good, man. My friend here in Japan, he's like a champion up here, black belt. So he got me into it. He's just getting me to roll like 3, 4 times in a row with a bunch. So I'm just like jumping right into it, and he's teaching me and stuff. So it's been good. Like if you do come out here sometime, yeah, we'll get you into his dojo, and it's
Dude,
a good
I would
experience.
love that. Actually, Andrew and I we were
Well,
talking about we kind of want to do Japan maybe next year, the year after, just kind of depends, but um
yeah,
it's definitely on our list of places to go. And you're there with, with the wife and kid, right? So like
yeah,
how's it with a kid there? Like super like
yeah.
pretty good?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, she's a good kid, so she doesn't really cry too much, and yeah, she's definitely the loudest in the country. Like when she's rolling down the street, you can definitely hear her because it's a Japanese people are very
Yeah.
quiet and like reserved. But yeah, she's really good, and the flight wasn't bad, and yeah, she eats everything, which is also helpful. So anything we put in front of her, she'll just eat, and
Yeah, that's
it's
awesome.
it's good. It's good, buddy. You and the kid would enjoy it, and the wife if you were to come. And it's a direct flight from where we are. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
nice.
yeah. And then you can do jiu-jitsu too. I'll link you up with my buddy here, and you can
Uh,
go to his dojo
Dude,
or
I would
whatever.
love
And
that. That'd be so cool.
uh,
That'd
it's
be
cool. I've been to, I've been to a few dojos here. There's like some professional ones, and then there's like just like 6 mats on the ground in this old like Japanese house with like a Japanese radio going off, and guys just rolling. It's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah, buddy. But
Um,
yeah, it's been exciting year, man. Just yeah, studio and everything else and being back and I'm happy we're doing this episode as well because I think it's beneficial for people getting in and like you said, people who are already in.
yeah,
Um, which we can jump into that now if we don't have anything left for probation, but just in general, life in the service,
yeah.
health stuff. Um,
Sleep.
yeah, sleep. Yeah, I was just gonna say, how's your sleep these days?
Shit.
Not non-existent.
Non-existent. No. Yeah, my sleep has not been good. Obviously, you know, my son was an amazing sleeper up until about 2 months ago, and now
Mhm.
he is basically the devil reincarnated when it comes to sleep. But the problem is he's so damn cute that it's like you can't really you go in there when he's like, crying and then you're like, ah, poor guy. But you're just so sleep deprived and so tired that you just want to go in there and be like, dude, shut up. Go to sleep. So yeah, sleep hasn't been great, but it is what it is. At work too, like, we get some busy nights and stuff like that. So sometimes obviously, you're working shift work, right? It's gonna be tough. Um,
Yeah.
I think a big thing is the importance of recovery on your days off,
Mhm.
which obviously
Yeah.
for those of you who have young kids, you understand that it makes it a little bit more difficult, right? But that's it's only a temporary kind of phase anyways. But um, when we had the doc on there on our episode on that episode, like he was saying, like it didn't really matter like the studies that they did whether you're at a super busy or just like a moderate haul. It takes
Mhm.
a roughly a full 48 hours for you to properly fully recover from a shift, right? And
Mhm.
that's not including if you have stuff going on outside of work, right? Like where you're,
Mhm.
say you're working a second job or whatever the case might be, right? If you're doing that, then it takes longer, right? So um yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what about you, Boris? Like with sleep?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, obviously with a kid, it's a different dynamic, right? And it throws stuff in there, but that kind of goes to show that again, you have to be your own advocate in the fire service with the sleep as well. Like, if some crews like to stay up late, bond, that kind of stuff, which is great. Bonding with your crew is awesome, and you want that. But some nights, if you know that like the next day you have a lot of things to do, you're watching the kid or whatever it is, like say something, be like, hey guys, like sorry, I can't really, I'm just gonna, try to get some rest here. We could have a busy night and I want to hang out, but like, obviously I got stuff to do or whatever it is, right? Again, just being that advocate and making sure that you're taking your health seriously. Because yeah, some people are okay with that. Some people roll on no sleep and
Hmm.
maybe single guys, they don't really care. They'll sleep all day next day kind of thing. But yeah, you just have to be vocal when it comes to your own health, especially sleep, because it's so important, right?
Yeah. Well, and these things like stack onto each other too, right? It's like, okay, you're around a lot of carcinogens and stuff like that, but you're doing your best to mitigate that and to, properly decon and wear your SCBA and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But then if you're getting shit sleep all the time too, like even on your days off, and you're not recovering properly, well, now you're going to start leading into more heart conditions and high blood pressure and all these
Yeah.
types of things, right? So it's really you really got to be very like cognizant of your recovery when it comes
Mhm.
to post shift kind of stuff, right? And a big thing is the sleep, right?
Yeah, and like I said, it goes the next day too. Like if the guys or girls want to go get some breakfast afterwards, or the crew wants to do something afterwards, and you can't do it, or it's going to be detrimental to your health, like it is what it is. Say something.
Yeah, like you don't have to make every outing or event,
Yeah,
right? Like there's
yeah.
times where you're gonna have to just be like, you know what, we had a fucking absolute shit kicking of a night last shift or whatever last
Mhm.
night. I got to go home and get some rest. Like I'm gonna have to skip coming for a crew breakfast today, right? And
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
you don't want to have to do that every time. Like you want to be able to also bond with your crew and enjoy time together outside of work, right? But
Mhm.
you do have to keep in mind like your health and all that. And I noticed too with sleep too, it's like it's not even just the health risk, but like your mood and like your mental
Mhm.
health gets affected easily by lack of sleep as well.
Yeah.
I think did
Well,
we have an episode about that about lack of sleep or something?
I don't know. We
I think we
should if
did. We've
we.
had so many damn episodes.
I know it's been great.
I
It's,
know.
it's been rolling forward, but I thought about that today as well. Like, my wife made a comment about our daughter. She's like, "Oh, she's a little cranky today because she didn't have that much sleep." And I'm like, man, I'm pretty cranky when I don't have sleep. Like, we're just babies essentially. It's just, but we just ignore
Yeah.
these like all
Especially
these.
you. Just a
Never
big
mind. I gotta
baby.
go change my underwear. Yeah.
But it's true,
But
man. Like it's, like I find that with my son too. Like if he doesn't get enough sleep, he's in a bad mood, right? And I
yeah,
am too.
yeah.
Like I know that about myself too. Like
And we choose to ignore it, which is terrible. We're like, I'm just like, I'll roll with it. It's like, no, go take a 1 hour nap, even though you're 40 years old.
yeah.
Just go.
Yeah. Are you 40? How old are you?
No, no, I'm way younger than that. I'm
What?
38 right now. No,
38.
37. Do you even
Shit,
know?
bro.
I was born in 88.
You're at least 45. No, just kidding.
That's my
You're
mind. My
you're
body says
38.
25.
You're
Am I?
38, right? I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know.
What
I
year were you
actually
born?
stopped counting. 88. Year of the
Yes, so
dragon,
you,
baby.
you're 38.
38. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm almost 40, buddy. I'm getting up there.
you are.
Uh,
Some gray in your beard.
That's why I'm choking on my latte here as I speak to you.
I gotta make sure
My
you have
body.
like a next time we record a podcast, gonna make sure you have like a pack of like Ensure or something, and like old people they need a little extra protein. They use that as like a meal replacement.
You might. We'll see. We'll see where I am next episode. Who knows? Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, buddy, sleep obviously huge. Be your own advocate, like we said. We said that multiple times, right? Okay, pathogens. So like we talk about uh like blood and other things when you go on calls, right? Obviously you and I have had
screaming.
our fair share of that stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Wearing your PPE. So that kind of goes back to what you were saying regarding overhaul and wearing a mask. Is like not only should you be wearing PPE because it's good for you and you're not going to die as early, hopefully, but also like your work cover, insurance, all that kind of stuff that relates to your job. Like if you weren't wearing your PPE and you get something, you may have a very difficult time, getting that covered or having
Mhm.
having any kind of health coverage over that because you've basically failed at staying safe, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that happens sometimes. Like we'll go in and maybe you go from right from a fire call to a medical call and maybe you didn't put on the gloves right away. Well, again, it's on you to kind of be like, hey, does anyone have an extra pair of gloves? Or like go through the kits, get those gloves, right? Because yeah, you just never know with the people we meet and strangers and everything else. Like you don't know what you're touching, you don't know what you're bringing back, right? Yeah, again, just you have to say something, even if you're a junior person, right?
That's such a good point, Boris, and something that I think is kind of overlooked or even forgotten, right? Because there's so many different health concerns and dangers related to the fire service.
Mhm.
And everyone always thinks fire, smoke, all that, kind of stuff. But yeah, pathogens, right? Like you do go to calls where you're dealing with sick people who could have, potentially infectious diseases, HIV, hepatitis C, that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
right? So, and they could be bleeding or coughing or spitting or whatever the case might be, right? So, yeah, it's super important to like make sure you got your PPE on, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, Especially like after COVID, like we've seen kind of the levels that you can be as well, right? Like you can either go fully suited up and yeah, there's just so many levels to it. And if you're unsure, like I'm sure it was a similar thing with you with COVID and people around is like when people aren't sure, they just put on a lot of PPE, right? And
Yeah,
like, why aren't we doing that with fires too? If you're unsure what you're walking into, like mask up, wear your whole SCBA and bunker gear and gloves, right?
yeah,
It's
for
it's kind
sure.
of similar. And then if you find that it's this isn't that big of a deal, then yeah, then it's a lot easier to take stuff off than to put it back on, right? When it's
Yeah.
too late. Firehouse meals, buddy. That's a big one. I find that.
That okay, so that's a really um that's a really big one. I'm glad that you put that down because um like on Instagram and stuff you see like I mean the department that we're at, I think a lot of people are very like health conscious and maybe the
Mhm.
surrounding departments around us and we of course like we do have some of our, kind of greasy meals or,
And
whatever.
we
So
love.
yeah, for sure. But I think for a lot of crews, at least that I've worked with, like there is definitely a focus on like having healthier meals. But like when you're on
Mhm.
Instagram and you're looking at like some of the other fire halls and like around North America and what they eat on a regular basis, you can see why some of the firefighters are so damn fat.
Yeah, yeah, and it's again, it's very tough to say something if you're a new person, right? And again, it's that fine line. Like you don't want to be a picky eater for all these little tiny things. Okay, if you really have like a dietary restriction, like if you're a celiac or whatever, right? If it's part of your religion not to eat, pork or whatever, like okay, we get it. We'll work around it. We're a crew, we work
Yeah.
together, right? But like yeah. If it's something super minor, you're probably not going to say anything. And that's kind of an issue when you have one of those like big greasy meals. Because like technically you can eat all that. You're not
Hmm.
allergic to it, but is it really healthy for you? Are you really going to be efficient after you eat that meal?
Ooh,
Right.
that's a good point. I didn't even think
Just
about
be
that.
it.
Like after you have like a
Just be
big greasy meal and then you get tapped out. I've had that happen before. You get
Oh
tapped
yeah.
out to a fire. I'm like, "Ugh, ugh," like
Yeah.
almost
How
puking.
effective
Like,
are you?
oh yeah, just not at all. Like, like try not to puke in my mask. But um, yeah, I think like especially if you're new and you're not like maybe the person who's kind of taking charge of the meals and cooking it's kind of tough. I think like when you have someone who's making when you're on probation, you're drilling, you have a couple people on your crew there and they're cooking a meal, a beautiful meal for you after you're done your drill for everyone to sit down and enjoy. It's kind of hard for you to be like, "Oh, like I don't want to eat that because it's, a greasy burger." You know what I mean? It's kind of rude.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
but I think eventually, like, and every department's different, right? So wherever you're listening from, your department could be completely different, but eventually you're going to have that opportunity where you're kind of going to maybe take lead on the meals and stuff like that, and then that's where you can really kind of dictate those kind of healthier choices and stuff too. But another big thing with that is what you do on your days off as far as health and nutrition goes too, right?
Yeah, it's just, yeah, absolutely.
Like you eat a big
Yeah.
greasy meal at work and then you go home and Uber Eats 3 Big Macs
Yeah.
and sit on your couch, like
Yeah, yeah.
it's like, yeah, you know what? The fire hall meal is contributing, but so is the rest of your lifestyle, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. 100%. And
dude, what like the food in or sorry, here, you go ahead first because then I want to talk about Japanese food real quick, but you go ahead.
okay, okay. I was just gonna say, like, if you're listening to this and you've been on the job for a few years, like, be that advocate, right? Even if you're
Yeah.
brown bagging the food, even if you're bringing it to work and you're not actually cooking, be like, okay, well, like, I eat this because it makes me feels lighter. I'm still healthier, and like, our job is already, bad enough in some aspects. You don't say that to the younger guys or to the junior guys, probationaries, so that you show them that it's okay to like, bring something healthy to the fire ground or
Hmm.
cook something healthy. Um,
Lead by
because
example.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that was uh that was all I had to say before. What
Well,
are you
that
gonna
was
throw
that was
my
a
way?
beautiful rant that you had, Boris. I'd like to just point out you did a great job. It was very eloquent and well delivered, so thank you. Uh,
Like everything I do.
yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Um,
Yeah.
um, oh yeah, I was gonna ask, Kay, what's your favorite thing that you've had over in Japan so far, like as far as food goes? Because they eat like I mean, Japanese food is probably one of my favorites. Like I can eat
Yeah.
sushi every day, no problem, and I would never get sick of it. Like the bento boxes and stuff, and it's like
Yes.
relatively healthy food for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way. There's also fast food here, and you can get bento boxes that are greasy and things like that. But
Mm,
yeah, I think the culture, Japanese culture, from what I've understood in my, years coming here, is the food is first of all, portion sizes are much smaller. You're moving a lot more and you're eating a lot more often. So, like, we'll have a small little breakfast, go out, do something. A lot of people here commute, so they'll take the train, lots of stairs, even
mm-hmm.
to work, right? Then they'll have lunch, they'll have something quick, or they'll stop at a convenience store, have something quick. Um, there's lots of options and lots of small meals, small portions throughout the day, lots of movement. So, um, yeah, it's great that way. I think some of that is lost in North America and Australia and some of the other, Western cultures. Not Europe is a little bit different, but I would say like yeah, more Anglo-Saxon cultures like North America, Australia, New Zealand, we're very much more sedentary, right? We
Mm-hmm.
like to
Yeah,
sit,
100%.
eat big meals. We like to drive cars, big trucks,
Yeah.
right? So it's different that way. The food culture here is different in a way too. There's no like, oh, let me find a five-star restaurant. Like, yeah, you might find like one like in your area, but like there's no like, oh, this is the spot in, Osaka to go to. It's like there's 1,000 very good spots to go to.
Yeah, that's cool.
So you just basically like if you get hungry, along the way, you just pop open your phone, find something in your vicinity, and boom, you're there in like 5 minutes, you know.
Nice.
So it's a very different food culture, but yeah, I love it, buddy. It's that's why I come back every year, and it's just yeah, it's one of the reasons why. You should try some other Japanese foods like okonomiyaki, which is like a Japanese pancake.
Oh.
Uh, yeah, some eel. They do eel really well.
Mm,
There's
nice.
like different tiers of eel. Yeah, buddy, it's
I'm getting hungry.
udons. Yeah, udon, ramen. So
Yeah.
many good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Soba. Soba is like a
It's a noodle,
quintessential Japan. Yeah, it's
isn't
like a
it?
very simple but very delicate delicious thing. I say like soba actually defines Japan in my opinion because it's like this like very they take a very simple thing and make it absolutely beautiful. So
Nice.
highly recommend. Yeah. Maybe we'll
Yeah,
go next year together. Maybe you'll
maybe.
come down and big family FGC outing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That'd be
We can
sweet.
roll.
Do a podcast in Japan. Maybe interview some Japanese firefighters.
Yes, yes. There's some that do jujitsu here for sure, so we should definitely get on that.
Sweet. Okay,
Absolutely.
if you ever learn
Yeah.
how to speak Japanese, because
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna be able
We'll
to
be
do
good.
it. Well, yeah, we're gonna
We'll
need a
be good.
translator.
Yeah.
Cool. What else do we have on the list here, Boris?
Let's see what we wrote down. We did well, cancer and heart problems. We talked about
We
this a
kind of
little
yeah,
bit.
we
I think we
touched
can,
on that.
yeah, the two big ones I think that we haven't yet is PTSD,
Hmm.
right? It's I find that culture now is very much open to talking about it and kind of even when I first started, I don't know if I've ever said this on the podcast, but my very first captain said keep your locker clean, like keep your file cabinet clean. So like if you don't need to go into a room that has somebody that's if it's like a confirmed death, somebody jumped off a building and cops are already there and you don't need to go see it, right? That's
Yeah,
kind of what he was getting at. Keep your file cabinet as clean as possible.
or
Um,
like a train incident, right? Like we had one of those recently where
yeah.
the captain who took command of that did a really good job of being like, hey, we don't need to expose everybody to this. The person's
Mhm.
obviously been run over by a train, like they're obviously gone, right? So at that point, it was just a recovery. So it was just a few of us,
Yeah.
who specialize in heavy rescue that really had to really do anything or deal with the body and stuff like that. And I I think it's just so smart where it's like, hey, we don't need to expose everybody to this.
Yeah.
Just the only the people who absolutely are required to deal with the situation, and so it's really good that way. And like you said, Boris, it's just keeping your locker clean or keeping your backpack empty kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I'm really happy and proud of my officer for being that way, and starting me because I was a probationer, right? So if you set that standard as a captain to a very impressionable probationer, or if you're a senior firefighter listening to this and you do that with a probationer or a recruit or a young guy, whatever, um, you're going to set them up for success later down the line. Because ever since he told me that, like that's what I do. I just like if I don't need to go in there, I don't go in there. If they need three people in there, then I don't need to be the fourth guy,
You actually,
right?
you know what, Boris? You actually practiced this once on a call that we were on together.
Did I,
Do you
did I actually?
remember?
Oh, was this like very early on, right?
Yeah, yeah. We
Yeah, I
went
do.
to
I do.
we went to a call, and not to laugh or anything, but this lady had died uh in her washroom, but
Yes.
she had been there for a while. I remember I was like first in the door. I turned around and looked at you. I
Yeah.
was like, "Boo! She's been there for a while." And you were just like, "I'm just gonna wait
Yeah.
here." And there's nothing we can do,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously the person had been deceased for what appeared to be uh at least a few days. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And you're gonna
it's
see that,
smart,
right?
right? Like, yeah, you're gonna see it, and but like you said, like I think limiting the exposure is gonna be it's gonna be key to trying to at least um preserve your mental health, right?
Yeah, and if something does sting you, bother you, like yeah, say something, or a lot of documentation that officers do these days is digital, right? And a lot of times there'll be like an exposures tab or exposure area that they can type stuff in and just documenting it, right? Because if something does happen down the line, 10 years from now, and you start getting flashbacks or so there's some issues with it, at least there's a paper trail of that incident and you can get the help you need and the support and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, don't think that just because you're new to the job, things don't affect you or you can't say something about it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But again, like be ready for it because that's the job, right? Like we were saying about throwing
Yeah.
ladders. Like if your shoulder's sore, like that's the job. Like you're gonna see bad stuff, you're gonna get injured. Yeah, it just how you recover from it and how you move on is the key thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think we've had an episode about this, but just finding healthy coping mechanisms and start training jujitsu, you know.
Start wrestling dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, were you doing gi or no gi?
Gee, I'm not ready for ringworm yet. I think I'm just gonna stick. I actually got a sweet Japanese gi. I'm curious. I'll bring it over.
Yeah, bring it
Might
over,
be
man.
jealous.
That's
Yeah,
sweet.
yeah, it's cool. If you ever want anything from, and you know what, you're gonna be here next year. I'm not gonna even say I'm gonna bring you stuff. You're just gonna come over and you're gonna buy it yourself.
Yeah, or you can
So,
bring me some stuff too. I mean, I'm not gonna
yeah,
stop you.
yeah. I'll
Um, so
yeah.
are that kind of sorry to cut you off there, but
No, it's okay. I was just gonna talk about used underwear that you can buy in Japan. But yeah, let's move on. Nicotine.
you would know about that. Um, nicotine and coffee intake, big,
Yes.
big in the fire
Guilty.
service. Yeah,
Yeah, guilty.
same,
Yeah.
same. Um, like I mean, it's totally fine to have a couple cups of well, you just don't want to overdo it really, and it's easy to do,
Yeah.
especially like when you mix in like the sleep deprivation and stuff like that, and it's easy to overdo it in that sense, right? But
Yeah. I've even overdone it like the next day. Like we go out for coffees with the crew in the morning for breakfast or something. And, we're sitting there chatting, having a good time. It's been 2 hours and I've had like three coffees
yeah,
already. It's like, well, hold up. This isn't going to do any good to me when I'm trying to go to sleep later.
dude,
Right.
I honestly, I probably on a day that I'm working, like on shift, I
Yeah.
bet you I probably have like at least 6 cups of coffee.
Yeah. That sounds
Yeah,
about right.
in a day. And then,
Yeah.
if I'm at home, I'll only have like one or two kind of thing, right? But
Mhm.
um yeah, it definitely doesn't help your sleep, right? And raises blood pressure, same as nicotine, right? It's a stimulant as well, right? So yeah, you got to be conscious of I mean, this is something that I think is pretty prevalent within the fire service, and it's probably something that a lot of people don't think of how it could potentially be affecting their health, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you're gonna have to say something. If you already had coffee, no, I'm good. Or if you're making coffee, you're fine as a junior person to make it for everybody else, but not have some yourself, right? It's just, yeah, just take care of your body early. Same thing with nicotine. Um, Very hard to say no sometimes if somebody offers you like a nicotine pouch or something, right? Yeah, you just have to be. We all have to be better. We're not saying, we're guilty of a lot of these things ourselves, and that's why we kind of wanted to talk about it today too, right?
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. I think this was a good topic to cover.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions about it or want to tell us anything, any stories, or you're not sure how to proceed with certain things, just shoot us an email, shoot us a DM. Um, happy to help out, and hopefully you guys can have a long, healthy career, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have too much more to add. I don't know if you do, Boris.
No, no. What are you doing after this? Crushing a coffee and a
Yeah,
beer? Or what?
yeah, coffee, Zen, beer. No, I'm gonna. The wife, she made some food, some dinner. So
Greasy food?
no, nice and healthy, doing taco
Okay.
bowls.
Nice,
Um,
nice.
but look at me, I'm fucking getting trim.
I
I'm
know.
I'm gearing
Skinny.
up. I'm gearing up for the summer shred.
Yeah, yeah, nice.
I do the
Yeah.
winter bulk and then I do the summer shred. Well, I try to every year.
Yeah.
Sometimes it ends
It's
up
a
to be
double bulk.
yeah, sometimes it ends up to be a double bulk. But yeah, no, I've just been
Right on,
eating
buddy.
super clean and cutting some weight down and stuff. So
Awesome, buddy. Good to hear.
yeah,
That's great. Yeah, no, that's all I had. I'm just, yeah, happy to be back. Good to, shoot the shit with you once more. And it's, yeah,
hell
let's get
yeah.
let's get let's
And
get these
now, do
episodes
you
going.
do you want to maybe tell our listeners a little bit, like if you're if you're back full time on the podcast, or here and there, or whatever, just give them the lowdown, because we've had people ask when you were coming
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'll be back full time. I'm just on holidays right now in Japan. And then, that's why we're starting recording now. And then, yeah, I'll just be full on for a good chunk. And yeah, yeah,
And
we'll just see where
there's gonna
I'm just
be
stoked for the studio.
this is we're talking over each other again. Um, There's going to be three of us too, right? So, which is going to be cool. I think with Brendan, who's also going to come on as a kind of like a part-time co-host of the podcast with us.
Yeah.
He's a super funny dude. And I think people are really going to enjoy just our episodes as a trio and
Yeah.
the banter that we have that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a good man. He does a lot for the fire service,
Yeah.
on and off the job. And yeah, I was lucky to know him from my volunteer days and stuff. So yeah, it'll be great to have him on. I listened to the episode with you and him. That was hilarious as
I
well.
haven't
And
listened to it
yeah,
yet. I haven't listened to like the last three episodes that we've done. I haven't had time to just been so
yeah.
freaking busy. So I do need to catch up on it. Uh,
Well, it's fair though. You're in the episode, so like you know what it was about and you've kind
yeah,
of
exactly.
experienced.
And dude, I find it kind of weird like listening to myself after. I'm like,
Yeah.
man, I sound like a fucking
I, s-
idiot. Like,
I sound like a wiener.
yeah. Like, oh man, no wonder why I have no friends. No, just
Yeah, it'll be
um,
good. I'm looking forward to the new studio, new co-host, back in the saddle, consulting and everything else. So yeah, buddy, it'll be good.
the
And we
Serbian
got some new.
the Serbian prince has come back to reclaim his throne.
That's right. Return of the King, baby.
Yeah,
Okay.
sweet.
Um, yeah, buddy. It's good to talk to you again, and let's hop on the next episode if we're recording.
Let's do it. Let's do the next one. Wait, we didn't say bye to everyone.
Oh yeah. Bye.
Uh, anyways, everyone, thanks for listening. Um, yeah, don't forget comment, subscribe, share, save, all that good stuff. Anytime you guys like or comment on anything, obviously it gets the podcast some more traction, more viewers means easier to get some bigger sponsors. More sponsors equals better equipment and a better production for our listeners. So thanks, guys.